Hi, this is Mrs. Silvagnoli, and this is your video on misplaced and dangling modifiers. If after you are finished with this video you would like more information about misplaced and dangling modifiers, you can always take a look at the writing and context books, which I hope you are all familiar with. On pages 380 to 383, there's more information and exercises as well. So a modifier is a word or phrase that functions as an adjective or an adverb. So in other words, it describes or limits other words in a sentence. It usually describes or limits a noun, a pronoun, or a verb. So it could be an adjective like good, well, or an adverb. We also could use a prepositional phrase as a modifier as well. These words, these modifiers, should be placed as close as possible to the word or words it modifies. Otherwise, there could be a lot of confusion. When you watch a late show, sometimes they have funny headlines, and a lot of times those funny headlines are funny because they have dangling or misplaced modifiers. So while modifiers are great to use as you write because it helps your writing be more specific, more descriptive, sometimes there are some mistakes when using modifiers. And one such mistake is a dangling modifier. So if you think of something that is dangling, it's not quite attached. And so this happens to a modifier when we have a word, phrase, or clause that cannot logically modify anything in a sentence. So it's not really attached to a noun, a pronoun, or verb. So the cartoon, we have a wrong example of using a modifier because this is a dangling modifier. We have while playing baseball in the park, the sun grew hotter. So here we have the sun playing baseball in the park. That doesn't seem right. We do not have who or what was playing baseball in the park. And so therefore that modifier, while playing baseball in the park, does not modify anything. The correct form would be, while the boy was playing baseball in the park, the sun grew hotter. Here's another example. We have using my computer, the report was finished in 2 days. This sentence right now says that the report was using my computer. So it doesn't logically modify anything in the sentence. It doesn't tell us who or what was using the computer. So that is incorrect. That is a dangling modifier. To fix it, we would say using my computer, I finished the report in 2 days. So now we have who or what was using the computer. I was. So ask yourself questions as you're writing to make sure that your modifiers are not dangling or misplaced modifiers. Another example, paid in advance, the furniture was delivered. Again, right now we don't have who or what was paid in advance. We have the furniture. If my furniture paid for things, I'd be pretty happy. So this again is incorrect. It's a dangling modifier. To fix it, paid in advance, the movers delivered the furniture. So now we know who or what was paid in advance. The movers were paid in advance. The second mistake that people can make when using modifiers is a misplaced modifier. A misplaced modifier is a word, phrase, or clause that has landed in the wrong place in the sentence. So again, it is misplaced. It is not in the right place. It appears to modify the wrong word. It's usually silly, confusing, or illogical. So with the cartoon, we have the example. The waiter served a piece of cake to the man with a cherry on top. So right now we have with a cherry on top, and it's next to the man in the sentence. And so that would tell us that the man has a cherry on a top, and that just does not make sense. To fix it, we have the waiter served a piece of cake with a cherry on top to the man. That is definitely much better. So now we have a piece of cake with a cherry on top of it. So here are a few examples. We have Sarah fed the dog wearing her pajamas. So right now we have the dog wearing Sarah's pajamas, which is possible, but it's kind of silly. Usually the dog does not wear Sarah's pajamas. So that would be incorrect. That is a misplaced modifier. So instead, we'd have to change the sentence. So we have wearing her pajamas, Sarah fed the dog. So now we have our modifier right next to Sarah because Sarah is the one who is wearing her pajamas. Another example, dressed in a raincoat and boots, I thought my son was prepared for the storm. So once again, we have our modifier, dressed in a raincoat and boots. Who or what was dressed in it? I was. Well, if I am dressed in a raincoat and boots, why is my son prepared for the storm? So that is incorrect. To correct it, we would have to change it to I thought my son, dressed in a raincoat and boots, was prepared for the storm. So now we have the modifier, dressed in a raincoat and boots. Who or what was dressed in a raincoat and boots? My son was. That makes more sense. So here are 5 sentences that have either dangling or misplaced modifiers. And what I would like you to do is pause this video, go through these sentences, see if you can label them as misplaced or dangling modifiers, then see if you can rewrite them to eliminate those dangling and misplaced modifiers. When you're done, hit start again and I will go over these with you. So once again, go ahead and pause the video. Now that you are finished, let's go ahead and take a look at these 5 together. We have the waiter served a dinner roll to the woman that was well buttered. This doesn't make sense. The woman is well buttered. So once again, we have a misplaced modifier. To fix it, we have to move the well buttered next to what was well buttered. In this case, it is the dinner roll. So to correct this sentence, we have the waiter served a dinner roll that was well buttered to the woman. Number 2, they saw a fence behind the house made of barbed wire. Once again, we have a misplaced modifier because the house was not what was made of barbed wire. The fence was. So once again, locate your modifier, ask yourself who or what is being modified, and make sure your modifier is next to that noun, pronoun, or verb. So to fix it, we would say, they saw a fence made of barbed wire behind the house. So now we know the fence is what was made of barbed wire. For number 3, I saw a rabbit and a raccoon on the way to the airport. So a rabbit and raccoon are traveling to the airport? No. So once again, we have to flip it around. On the way to the airport, who or what was on the way to the airport? I was. So I saw the rabbit and a raccoon. So they need to be next to each other. For number 4, pushing on the brakes, my car would not stop for the red light. So here we have a dangling modifier because we don't have who or what was pushing on the brakes in the sentence. So to fix it, we have to insert this information. My car would not stop for the red light even though I was pushing on the brakes. For number 5, while talking on the phone, the doorbell rang. Again, with this, we don't have who or what was talking on the phone. So we have to insert who or what was talking on the phone. While I was talking on the phone, the doorbell rang. So with modifiers, you need to find the modifier, make sure the modifier has something to modify. If not, you need to insert that information. Otherwise, it's a dangling modifier. And make sure the modifier is as close as possible to the word, phrase, or clause it modifies. So again, with this, if it is not, then you have a misplaced modifier, so you need to fix it. So this last slide, once again, what I would like you to do is pause the video. This is practice for you. Label each of the following sentences as a dangling or misplaced modifier, then rewrite the sentence to eliminate the dangling or misplaced modifier. And remember to write the answers on a separate piece of paper if your teacher requests it. So your teacher may want you to turn it in. So good luck, and I'll talk to you in the next video.